Welcome back, everyone, to the Intel Extreme Masters, and we are down to 2 teams in the last man standing format. Only 2 teams, both with 3 lives left. The finals, essentially, of the Intel Extreme Masters between EnVyUs and TSM, and it's going to start on Cache for the first map between these 2 teams. We were discussing this a little bit. How is this whole thing going to work out? Let's talk bigger picture first. Is there a clear advantage between these 2 teams now that we've seen both of them for 3 days?
Well, I mean, we do have TSM already able to warm up in this one, which is a big thing. EnVyUs have had some problems when it comes to getting into a best of 3 or getting into a tournament in general, having a very slow start. But with the 6 maps we have left to play in this, it's going to be a really close one. I was kind of looking through, seeing who has the potential advantage in this, and it's actually really clear-cut. You have TSM, or not clear-cut, it's TSM with Overpass, Mirage, Train. 3 very strong maps for them. Well, at least Train is not strong for EnVyUs, so it's strong for TSM. And they have EnVyUs with Cobble, Cache, and Inferno, which are 3 very good maps for them. So it's kind of like a 3-3 split. It comes down to the viewer vote.
Yeah, that could matter a lot.
And it's funny how this, has worked out, this seemingly random system that we have. If you go back and you take Renegades out of the picture, because they kind of break this theory. Yesterday, Mousesports and TSM basically played a best of 3. 3 maps they ended up playing against each other, ended 2-1.
Mousesports and Envy.
Yeah, Mousesports and
Envy. And TSM also had the same against SK. So we kind of had a, semi-finals and now moving into what is essentially a best of 5 grand final as well. So not quite as random. Carmack is indeed seemingly a genius man.
He's one of those guys that he always gets lucky with his ideas that they turn out to be genius, but on paper it's a 50-50. I don't know when that luck's gonna run out, man, but we'll find out maybe at the next time he comes up with another idea. But yeah, it's really fun how this has panned out. I mean, and people were saying, yeah, it's a fun tournament, but there's definitely still favorites and whatnot. We still have the 2 big favorites coming in. Mouse definitely put up a really good fight, in people's hearts, still being that top 3 here of the Intel Extreme Masters, and SK with the mixed roster showing up to play and impressing people this week at Gamescom. But now, again, it is down to this best of 5. So let's talk about Cache a little bit. You were saying maybe going in Envy's favor on this map. Why is that? What part of Cache is going into Envy's favor?
Well, we saw him play it yesterday. The double op setup that they can run is really interesting. We have Kenny S alone towards B, you have Happy working over towards A, maybe to protect door, maybe to watch towards main. I mean, it's been a very strong map for EnVyUs in the past, and with Happy still the mastermind in the team, you still have his calls, you still have his strategy behind it. We saw EnVyUs with the previous roster go, head-to-head against Cloud9, beat them before, lose recently against them. TSM, they're going to have to battle up against that, and we have seen Kenny S. I mean, he hasn't needed to put up huge numbers for them to win. Happy did that yesterday, but he can always show up big, and when he does, that's how Titan really won. And I think if he shows up on this map, that could give him that early life lead. Yeah,
and just coming into this tournament, if you look at Cache statistics on LAN, just on LAN in 2015, Envy actually have a 23-7 record.
Well, 24 now.
Well, 24 now. That's why I said coming into this tournament. Because now I can't keep up with all that math stuff going on. Only what I write. For TSM, it's a lot less, actually. Only played 14 games, 12 games, actually. I'm telling a lie there. And they're 50-50 on it. So Envy, statistically, coming into this first map, have the advantage. I think that TSM probably have an advantage in terms of their TSM and Unchanged roster coming into this one, performing well. Whereas Envy, there's still that little bit of an unknown factor in the fact that they have obviously brought in Kenny S and Apex there, that those 2 maybe aren't at the level in terms of team play with the other 3 that they will be in 1 week or 2 weeks or 2 months even.
I think it's a good opportunity for them as well to really see where they're at in terms of the teams. Against TSM, a best of 3, you come into this not really being sure of where you kind of stand and how well you'll play together. And I think EnVyUs are going to take this one maybe a little bit more serious. This is them to shine and really them to show up.
All right, well, ladies and gentlemen, you guys are waiting for it. It's going to be a big match. Please let us know what you think. Who's going to win it all in the 3 lives left for both EnVyUs and TSM? And while we wait for this match, we, of course, have one man, even after a loss, who should be pretty happy here at the Intel Extreme Masters. It's going to be Sponge on stage with his daily glass of OJ.
So, yeah, we're talking about the Puppet Master right now, Sponge. Before we get on to 3rd place, how did you feel about that last map? It wasn't the best performance.
Disappointed would be an understatement. I think everybody in the team is fed up with playing poorly against the top teams, and we have a lot to fix in the next week and a half before ESL 1.
3rd place, though. That is a great performance.
Yeah, sure, on paper, 3rd place. But the results we had against the top teams, not very good. To this competition, there was more than just Counter-Strike. There was playing the format, and we did that the best, and that's why we got third. If we could have played a better version of Counter-Strike, we could have gone even further, but we didn't show up and play our game today, and I think there's a lot of things that we need to look at and fix pretty quickly.
Well, let's actually talk about how you played the politics, how you played the system. It was phenomenal. You had a whole day yesterday. You were sat out on stage. No one picked you.
I think, so with the plan that we made with EnVy, it still worked out even though EnVy lost and we lost to SK on the previous day, because Mouse wanted to knock out SK, I think, or Goppy, I don't know, something like that. So it still worked out in our favor, but we got lucky. It looked like I was pulling all the strings and stuff, and I was, but a lot of the things didn't go our way and it didn't work out. But then, hey, they still matched each other up against each other, and we made it to third.
So if this was a popularity contest, you would have won.
When I get home, I'm going to join a political party and maybe run for Prime Minister or something like that.
So how much have you enjoyed the whole format? You said you were great at the system. You haven't played the best Counter-Strike you could have done. How have you enjoyed the whole format?
I thought it's a bit of fun, especially before a major. It's a good way for teams to, play a bit of a different format. It's not the same thing. It's interesting for the viewers. There's more viewer interaction. So I think it's great for everybody.
So we saw you as well when your team needed it. You were shouting at them, you were hollering at them, and then they played better. What do you say to them after a loss and when you get knocked out?
I don't think I've said anything to them yet. I think
cold shoulder.
Everybody needs a bit of time to grieve after a devastating loss like that. I'm going to sit there myself and rewatch the game as soon as the demo's up and look to the future.
Well, listen, you've been fascinating. It's been great to talk to you. Please put a hand together for Sponge and the Renegades. Chobra and the Death Monkeys, it's back to you.
Thank you very much, OJ. But I actually that was a really refreshing interview because Sponge he's talking about how he's had fun with the tournament format rather, and it's been great. But at the same time, they're taking their losses very seriously. They're very disappointed. They're not talking it up as like, well, we were the underdogs, so it's great that we got third place. But they're sitting there going, well, ESL1's coming up. We can't play like this, so we're gonna take the next week very seriously. Things need to change.
Yeah, it's not like any team was coming into this and not really trying. Every team was trying their hardest just to see how they kind of stand and what they can improve on with that 10 days time. You heard him saying the next week and a half they're going to spend boot camping, practicing because, Renegades in the past, when they're known as Vox, haven't had the best standings or showings when it's come to majors.
And that's the thing, right? He's quite open and saying, politically I'm very good. I'm going to start my own party and, maybe I'm Prime Minister in a few years. But he's also correct when he says they've not had the best showing Counter-Strike wise. I mean, let's look at the games that they've actually won here against a disjointed SK gaming team. They've lost to basically all the top teams in the tournament here, and they're the teams that you have to beat if you want to have any kind of chance at winning ESL1 and the major. So there's a lot of work there for Renegades to do. I mean, these are smart guys, right? They're going to spend this week effectively. They're going to have EnVy there to boot camp with them online as well. So in theory, they're going to be stronger coming into ESL1. Question is, how strong will everyone else be by that point? And is that week here in Europe going to be enough for them?
Yeah, we'll find out in very short time, of course. But right now, EnVy still has a long way to go, so does TSM. So everyone, if you guys were cheering for Renegades and CLG, there's definitely quite a few matches to catch up on Plays.tv, and the story the same for both. Their limits were tested, they found out their holes, where their weaknesses are, and they're going to be spending the next couple of days to improve, preparing for ESL1 Cologne. But EnVy and TSM can't relax just yet. The tournament format's been fun. They were both part of the whole politics, but now gloves off, everything on the table, and these guys going to try to take 3 lives off of each other, starting on Cash. We talked about the map earlier a little bit. EnVy statistically also looking a lot better coming into this tournament. But again, not to talk a lot about how does Apex perform, how does Kenny perform. Happy talked about how, well, Kenny definitely playing with a lot less pressure, and that seems to be working out for us. Let's talk about Apex a little bit, though. He's been really on top all 3 days in a row. The consistency's been there so far for this week.
It's really hard to kind of be an entry fragger or support player when you're on a team because you don't really get much love. You know, if you get that amazing entry kill, everyone's like, oh, he's fantastic. You look at Freakazoid on Cloud9, he struggled. But coming into the Pro League, he really started to step things up. And Apex, you know, he's always been a strong player. He doesn't get as much recognition as he maybe wants to. But the good thing about his team is it's not the Kenny S show anymore. He can really start to shine through. And if he can hit those entries on TSM, he can help carry them, and he'd definitely be a star on the team.
It's about peaking at the right time, though. It's all well and good having a great 3 days, but people don't remember any of that. They always remember how you played in the grand final and on which maps. You know, even in a best of 5 scenario, people forget your good maps when you have a bad one. So it's keeping consistency over all 4 days, and even, you know, on a smaller level inside of this best of 5 as well. I personally think that EnVy are going to give TSM a really good show here, but I think that TSM as a more well-polished unit have got the chances, the better chances in this match.
Yeah, I mean, that's been the theme for TSM coming into this tournament. Consistent. That's why people are starting to rank them higher and higher in the world rankings.
And the thing is, they have a team of superstars. You know, Dupree's always been on the back foot. No one's really kind of seen him as a big standing out player. But this tournament alone, he's had phenomenal, you know, score. It's just been amazing to see him really start to step up. You have, you know, people like Device and KGB in the team who always get the starlight on him. But this man has done phenomenal. And to see that kind of performance, if he can transition that into ESL1 Cologne, TSM are looking maybe at a top 2 finish.
Yeah.
And Device yesterday as well, the Inferno game, he was an absolute monster. I think 29 kills in the first half, if I remember correctly on that one. So, you know, when people like that are playing that well on your team, you're always going to be doing well anyway. Question is, who's going to stand out for either team? If Kenny S does that, or you know, anyone, quite frankly, in between these 10 players that we have in each team, over both teams, whoever, you know, steps up and brings it for this one is going to give their team that massive push. It sounds obvious, but if you have one on each team performing to that kind of level, then it balances things out again.
Yeah, and I think the fun part here is throughout this tournament, they have all had their moments. All 10 players coming into this match, 5 on both teams, they've been in that spotlight for certain maps, for certain days coming in. It's not like it's just been about Apex, but it's, you know, Happy also picked up yesterday when Kenny wasn't able to really perform. He was getting picked up a little bit earlier, but then we don't know exactly how the comms are working every time. There's a factor there too, and you can clearly tell these two teams, they're working as a 5-man squad rather than just relying on one person or 2 people to perform this week.
Well, you talk about comms, you know, you're very right. We don't know exactly how things are going down, but, you know, this is like the perfect opportunity. You talk about EnVyUs. You know, you can be at home practicing like you're playing any game, but when you're on LAN, you're in the environment, you have the crowd in front of you, you have that focus, that mentality set. This is your real chance to test yourself as a team overall. And then, you know, going on the comms thing a little bit, you know, we don't know if Happy's maybe, you know, stepping back from his role. You know, he obviously the in-game caller for the team. Is he maybe letting Kenny S do some things, maybe allow Kenny S to shine a little bit, working around how he wants to play? Like we've seen the double op setup. We've seen actually when it's just one op, both of them traded off. You know, Happy sometimes gets aggressive on the CT side. Kenny S might use it on the T side a little bit. And they're still trying to figure out, I guess, exactly how they want to play.
Yeah, but that's also a great thing, you know, the unknown factor. Who's going to have that AWP in hand, and where are they going to be when you've got 2 players who can hit shots all day long? Then you've got a kind of scary team to be going up against there. I also think it's just really hard to say before a best of 5 as basically the first match of the day, because, you know, TSM beat Renegades, wasn't close whatsoever. They weren't really pushed in that one.
Right.
I think we'll be able to see a lot clearer who's stronger today after map 1.
You know what's weird is that I've been thinking about the teams in general. A lot of the top teams now have 2 people on the team that can op. Look at Fnatic, Olafmeister and JW. They both can op really well. You look at Virtus Pro, Pasha and now Neo taking over the role for him. Look at EnVyUs, you have Kenny S and Happy. Like, you have so many good potentials. Actually, even TSM, Cajun B, and Device. A lot of these top teams can run that double op setup, and like you said, Joe, it makes things really dangerous.
Yeah, I mean, there's definitely a benefit to having one person as a complete expert, but at the same time, the fluidity, and that allows you to adapt maybe a certain, again, and between those 2 people, some teams it might simply just be a matter of who's in better condition that day, but some teams it could be, well, on certain maps, certain positions, maybe I play A site better, I play B site better. We're going to see those changes come through, and that has been the exciting part about EnVy when people were a little bit skeptical. That was also the core part, was how are they going to balance and mesh this all out as a 5-man squad? But it sounds like so far, of course, we've been talking because the highlight has been on Kenny's and Apex. Can they gel into this team? But clearly, it's working out very well. The 3 core coming in from EnVy are supporting them very well. Kenny and Apex able to relax and just play their game, play CS, and enjoy the day.
And the fact that if you're Kenny S, you don't have that pressure on your shoulders anymore of having to use the op. I mean, he was probably one of the slowest people to really adapt to the op changes that we had back in the early on in the year. And to now know that, you know what, I'm not feeling the op today. I don't need to do that for my team. Happy can be the man to take it over. And like we saw Mirror say, he was 28 kills when the next closest person was 18. He was completely leading his team. I mean, that's got to be such a good thing for Kenny S. He gets to relax now and play the game he wants.
Yeah, that was literally what I was about to say. So thanks for that one, number one. But if you're having a bad day and you're the only person in your team that can hit shots like that, aka Kenny before, then you're in real trouble. Like, as a team, you've got a problem.
Yeah.
If you can say, look, guys, I'm not feeling it this map, let's put Happy in that role, let's switch things around a little bit, then he's going to hit shots with his AK or his M4. So that whole fluidity and diversity that you've got in a team is really important, I think, these days in CS.
Yeah, well, it will be exciting to see. Ladies and gentlemen, we are about to get into the very first game between these two teams, both with 3 lives left at the Intel Extreme Masters. And every time you're going to be able to fight for that chance to select side, how you kick off each map. First map, of course, being on Cash. EnVy on paper coming into this one a little bit stronger, but TSM, everyone's been talking about how they're going to be a top 3, top 2, and maybe eventually top 2 in the world. They will get their choice of selection here on Cash. Ladies and gentlemen, the finals of best of 5 between TSM and EnVyUs starts now at the Intel Extreme Masters.
Thank you very much, Joe Bros. I'm DJ Man Smith, and I'm joined by Natu once again for this one. I'm not even going to attempt your actual proper name. Joona Leppänen?
Joona Leppänen.
Leppänen. Gotta get the Swedish sort of pause in there.
Oh, Finnish.
That was
an insult.
Really
that was an insult.
How did I say Swedish? We were abusing the Finnish language outside earlier on today, but speaking of Scandinavia, we got Danes in there. Which I call them for Swedish and see how they like that. They weren't like that at all.
I want to touch on the subject that we were talking about there, Kenny. I think it's a dangerous fact to know that yesterday, when they were playing against Mousesports, EnVy, they were doing good with Kenny sitting at like 10 frags after like over 20 rounds.
Yeah.
Which is something you don't really traditionally see. So I think that's a bit of a scare for teams in the future if EnVy can play as good as they did.
I mean, we saw it was obviously EnVy on Cash yesterday, but we saw Happy hitting 30 plus. I think it was like 34 kills at the end of it. So you know, when your in-game leader can step up that well, it's definitely a bonus for him, that's for sure. But TSM on your screens, they've already lost once in this tournament to EnVyUs. That was all the way back day 1 on Cobblestone though, so there's a lot's changed since then. Certainly hitting the form, hitting the shots. Cajun B on fire in the previous matchup. But here we go. The first of what could indeed be a best of 5 setup. Both teams 3 lives, pistol underway.
Very traditional setup from TSM here, playing A retake, having 2 guys push B. I think it's Keo. I think he already spotted them possibly. While EnVy is setting up for an A play shortly.
So that's possibly TSM reading into EnVy's tactic yesterday, because Keo would push through towards B and just sit and linger at the back every single round. Now EnVy's stacking up 4 men coming in towards B site, and because TSM didn't see them, they may not be expecting this. Occasion B's just rotating. He's going to be an upper. Dupree can get himself in a position at the back.
Yep, and he spotted the attacking terrace.
That smoke will slow things down, and that immediately is going to force EnVy to go for a full rotate. MBK fires a couple of shots through. Happy calls his troops into action, and a rush is suddenly happening now. Device and Zipniks are holding this one fairly passively, but they should have a good angle to go for a retake.
It's been a smart round for EnVy so far. They're just feeling out TSM and seeing how they play and not committing to anything before they actually know how TSM's playing.
Big tag on Device there straight away at Toxic. Kenny has got himself in there. Quick bomb plant as well before any action really happened. That grenade's going to be bang on point. It's going to knock Apex down in that corner, but he hasn't shown himself yet. Hasn't popped out. They knew he was there, but he still manages to get the frag on Carrigan. Cajun B manages to chime in alongside Device, and it's just one tapping back and forth. Cajun B going aggressive in towards main. Still doesn't get the kill. The backup from Kenny is in the background. They try and rush the defuse, but the bomb was planted so long ago. Keo will strike, and it's EnVyUs that will take first blood here in this best of 5.
Oh yeah, and when you can hold forklift in A main as long as they did, that's going to delay the attack, specifically when the bomb is planted towards A main. So they managed to keep it off, keep the CTs off for long enough, and made it impossible for TSM to take over the bomb side and defuse the bomb.
I'm guessing there's a pause coming in here. Yes, there is, because you can see next the coach for EnVy taking a look towards Kenny as his screen. Now he's gone diving under the desk. So who needs an admin? Who needs a referee when you've got a coach like that that's willing to just throw himself under the desk?
He's a great guy. He used to be a manager for 3D Max before he went to EnVy, and he's a super nice guy. He's always there, going to be doing whatever you need.
We heard from Astro yesterday, 2 days ago. Okay, they're all blending into one now.
I think 2 days ago.
Telling us exactly what Next gets up to, and he's just, like you say, is literally, it's like a babysitter, a manager, a tour manager, a travel agent. It's just like everything all in one, rolled into one. Yeah.
But to pick on that pistol round, that was a very smart from EnVy. They were really just feeling out what TSM was doing, and they never committed anywhere. Except for, I think it was Kenny who smoked himself into A to see what's up going on there. They then went towards B, but they noticed they got spotted really early, so they went back towards A, got the bomb down, and just held it really neatly.
So this is like a default setup that EnVyUs do. They're just getting themselves in position. You'll always see Keo down the bottom of B, and well, he may just get an opening like that. MBK was with him, and he managed to tag Cajun B through the wall there, and that's actually opened B side wide up. Now, the question is, will they choose to go that way? Because TSM have had to rotate for it. Carrigan is going to be a scout on scout, but Keo chimes in with the AK and just ruins the party.
Yeah, considering how much money TSM invested in this round, I'm not really agreeing with the fact how they're getting picked apart one by one. They should be stacking somewhere and taking the chance instead of trying to get early kills.
And EnVy didn't even go deep. They didn't even push onto site. That was just straight peeking.
Exactly.
Keo, well, he's on a mission right now. He's got himself a triple already. Device is the sole man left. He wants to try and keep hold of his CZ75 and head armor. He's sitting in a fairly comfortable position while the rest of his team do get the bomb plant down. Apex is sitting waiting with the bomb. Okay, now he's planted it right at the back of B. Unusual spot for it.
Oh yeah, and now for Device, he's just trying to keep this CZ and armor for the next round, and maybe get a cheeky kill. Meanwhile,
yeah, they're just checking every little angle apart from CT spawn, so I don't think they want to go overly aggressive. Now they find him, that's good. Happy had a Mac 10, so he's going to be able to recover that one. Is he going to pick it up? Didn't quite peek around the corner and get it, so he's expecting to be charged down, and that's exactly what's happened. You can see Apex coming this way. He's going to look around. Is MBK going to find him? It's another! That's a really good start from Device. Getting himself a double at the end there, that worked out well for him.
At least they got 2 kills, but still, I don't agree. When you're doing a force buy, you want to have a plan of some sort. So you either stack one of the sides or whatever, make a push together. But like you said, they got picked apart from very far distance, which is not something you want to do when you're force buying like that.
I mean, you could argue Cajun B was just a little unlucky because he got caught by the wall headshot. But other than that, they were picked off. Like I say, Carrigan's going to go aggressive. Happy just comes around the corner and mows him down there with that Mac Daddy. He's going to have to switch to the pistol. He's not got any support here, so this is a straight-up pistol duel, and he's running out of bullets. But no, you can see that Zipnix and Cajun B do get 2 on the entry in towards B site. They will finally get in and get the bomb plant down. Device and Zipnix still coming around the sides. Device, you see, just challenging out, but backing away on vents. And I think they're going to collect what they can and maybe keep it for the next round.
Oh yeah, just try to get as many exit kills as possible. Getting those 2 kills on both rounds is a good thing going further down in a half, but that would definitely preferably get more. That's the most they can hope for at this point.
Zipnik's going to be able to get one. No! It's Kenny Ice with P250 taking down that Mac 10. Grenade being used out. That's one he just collected. Does manage to get the 1 kill. Can he get more? Going to get the reload. We'll get a second chance on the Apex, but Apex with the AK will come out on top. And a 3-0 solid start by EnVyUs.
Now it's going to be interesting. First weapon round coming in. What kind of an approach does TSM have for their defense? Are they going to want to hold middle, or are they going to leave it open? There's a big difference in the variance that we see between teams. I think more often than not we see teams playing heavy middle nowadays.
And this is also something, obviously they were talking about the double ups. Technically it can be a triple up for TSM because Carrigan's rocking it this time around instead of Device and Cajun B. He's going to be holding it in mid. It's the position he tends to use. There was a stack boost there, so Carrigan might get a angle on this one. Keogh's rattling a couple of shots to Dupree, meanwhile, down at B. You can see Carrigan flashed out, forced to back away. But Happy will find one through Squeaky.
Great shot from Happy there. This is what they've been doing yesterday as well. They said Happy there, the door, open it, and just try to get a sneaky entry kill, and then work on that.
You can say sneaky peeky, you're allowed.
I'm not going to. That doesn't really go well with my tongue. Oh well, but
Apex has got a control, so EnVy have middle control now, so they can go into B, which is I think where they're going to be heading. Dupree's all on his own there at the moment. Keogh's been sitting waiting. There's the bomb being handed off. Kenny S and MBK working their way into checkers through vents. Dupree is about to get tested. Cajun B is not too far away, so he'll be able to get into heaven just as they get a look around. That was a good start for Dupree, but it was quickly answered by Kenny. And now with the smoke down at CT, EnVyUs will get the plant down. The retake will be tricky for TSM. Zipnik's in vents could be a big difference here if he can come out on top in this duel. You see the shots rattling through, but nothing finding. So
it's a very hard retake for Solomon at this point. They probably want to save their weapons as they are.
I think Zipnik's, if it had landed the headshot maybe on Apex, they maybe considered their options, but the second nothing landed through, they immediately had to back away. They had invested for that AWP. They'd have had to gone on to yet another save.
Basically what happened that round was Happy getting that pick meant that there was a weakening in middle, which EnVy took advantage of. They went through there and pushed B, where there's only one CT player in there. I think it was Dupree. And that's an issue, actually. You always want to have two players towards B, either one in vent or one in B, or two in B in late round, because B is a very hard site to retake. And that's putting a lot of pressure on one player when you know there's going to be a lot of players coming from a lot of angles. And I think he only managed to get one kill, and that's just not enough.
It's something we need to keep our eye on down at B site, because Keogh will be going there every single round. And it seems that they're quite happy to peek checkers, peek B main, and have a look towards him and get a couple of shots towards him. They're trading again, but the smoke this time will cut them off. Happy once again getting himself into Squeaky. It's a very default setup that EnVyUs do almost every round just to try and get one of those peaks.
Oh yeah, that was the name of the game yesterday as well. And as soon as it wasn't working, that's when they started to come up with different ideas. But they will keep grinding at this as long as they keep getting first picks.
You can see Happy has the angle, got himself boosted in the corner there. And Zipnik's is not going to show for him now. He will actually. He's heading towards pod box, but that molly's going to force him away. Apex actually caught in a real tricky situation. The spread's not quite getting to him. It's just tapping on towards the side of him. And now he has to just take a look out. Zipnik's in MBK's corner.
Now we'll see as EnVy hasn't got any picks. Now are they going to do a setup here towards A?
Now the smoke's going to go through. Apex is going to be the man, the entry fragger to come through, and he's got himself actually into the corner, but Device, just a little message from Zipnik saying, yes, somebody definitely came through. Take a couple of shots into that corner. And they are right on point. Now EnVyUs with a 4-man, they're going to go for the rotate. They're heading towards B. Now MBK is going to push through on towards checkers. He's going to get her back around. Dupree will find one. Spins around, doesn't quite get MBK down. Equaling things up. Cajun B will strike. And now in a very awkward 2-on-4. It's going to be Keogh. If he can land this shot, he can. Happy manages to find Zipnik's as he passes through middle. And that's how even things up to a 2-on-2. Carrigan trying to squeak around. Does he know he's in? Keogh is on point in this game so far. And he gets himself a second. Now Device, the last man standing for TSM, to try and pick up their first round in this first matchup on Cash. But Happy strikes again.
Wow. That round, there was nothing going on for EnVy except for Kiyoshima.
That was a 2-on-4 situation for EnVy there.
The trend right now seems to be for EnVy. They try to force something towards A and then see what happens, sort of, and then they commit to middle and go towards the vent, through the vent to B. That seems to be that so far. That's what we've been doing in these weapon rounds.
Keogh with Kenny this time going to challenge with an AWP. He's going to get a peek towards Cajun B. Cajun B can see, is he going to drop down? Is Dupree going to get flashed in? Are they going to risk it? They haven't smoked it up yet, TSM. So they're giving Kenny the angles.
Yeah, it seems like it's a trend for EnVy here to do double ops on CT, on T side. Cash.
Well, Kenny saw the glimpse of feet, but Happy has meanwhile been found. That was over towards A site again.
I think TSM has caught up on what they want to do all the time, EnVy. They figure that out.
Yeah, they triple stacked A sites as well, so they were ready to make the play this time. Apex and Kenny have made the rotation, but Device catches Apex's head the second he comes around into Forklift. Now Kenny tries to even things up and misses the little shoulder shot onto Zipnix. And now this is a real tricky situation. Can Keo happen again? That's the question. He's made his way all the way around to A site, but there's a 3-man TSM defense holding this. Kenny has to land one of these shots.
MBK is going to be a crucial part here. He's in the middle, going to be coming up in lane.
He's managed to get himself round. There is the shot on Carrigan. Now he's going to be expecting one from Connector, but he's getting tagged up by Zipnix from the back. Beautiful shot there for Mass from range as well, but Keo is still alive, seemingly on point. 2-on-2. Cajun Beard Dupree on the retake. Oh, Kenny didn't see the man that crossed. I don't think Keo's going to be expecting this. He's going for the plant. Cajun B can come up and over and find an easy shot on Keo there, but he doesn't get the kill. Finally he does, and now Kenny in a 2-on-1. Real awkward situation. Cajun B perches, waits, doesn't get the no-scope, and Dupree will find the angle.
It's crazy how EnVy just manages to make rounds from rounds that are not really working out for them at all. That we saw MBK just creeping in middle, getting that pick towards A, and then it's all started to fall apart from TSM. In the end, though, Cajun being able to sneak past Kenny was the key move.
Yeah, a matter of milliseconds as well, as he just creeped past that angle as he went round the back of quad box. Crazy. So, TSM, very important round for them. More importantly, they managed to rescue that AWP as well. So Carrigan's going to use that in the mid, while the rest of EnVy, of course, can just rebuy straight back up.
Yeah, the hard thing for TSM as well in picking up that round is that they're getting going down in numbers all the time on every single round. If they won that one there, they were down to 2 players, so they're on very low economy still.
Keo and Cajun B once again having a little tit for tat down over at B. Meanwhile, Apex, very default, very standard setup from EnVy. Tried and tested, 5-1 up. They're going to go for a boost this time. So Carrigan is actually waiting for this. So Kenny's going to look in, but you can see Carrigan there on your screen in sandbags. There is a couple of mollies on EnVy if they wanted to try and flush him out, but I'm not too sure they're going to be ready for this position because he hasn't used it just yet. He's going to get the angle. Apex looks to be the first man that's going to come across. There's another flash to come out. He will not land the shot, and that's going to be crucial for him. Apex doesn't need a second chance as he takes the head off his shoulders, and this is going to be a straight up into B. Kyo's starting to make the move, starting to push up. Zipnix, Device pushes out of A main. Now they have the information. The rotate has to come, and it's got to come really quick because they're pushing through Checkers already. Dupree, though, will manage to find the head of Apex as he pushes straight in towards Checkers. Can he get a second? No. MBK strikes. Cajun B yet to be found. Spins around, gets one. Can't get a second. It's the bomb carrier, but he's done the damage. Kenny S all alone now as Device and Zipnix do make the rotation. That molly will slow things down, but he hasn't got the plant in. Realizing the smoke is dissipating in CT. Whoa, but he finds Zipnix straight away, and now it's a Device on Kenny S. 2 kills for Kenny already. Wow. And he is on point. Woo. And that will make it 6-1 for EnVy.
I was ready to really give a lot of credit to Cajun for playing as well as he did. I mean, he was phenomenal there, just playing a lot of time, but Kenny happened. This is the thing we were talking about. If EnVy is a scary team when Kenny's up playing in standards, and wow, what a crazy clutch, and that's putting TSM in a horrible situation when it comes to their economy. They're forced for a double save here unless they want to force on the next one, which I don't think is the wise thing to do.
Dupree in real trouble there. Flames, everything coming his way. Molly's just burning him out. It is just an eco for TSM, and I don't think EnVyUs are going to make too many mistakes in this one. Happy actually going to get challenged out by Zipnix. He's taken down to 4. Zipnix might be able to strike here if he can land one more shot, and he will if he can run away with a rifle. But Kenny, this is actually a scary thing for TSM, because if Kenny is coming into today on form, as you mentioned at the start, he was only getting like 10 kills yesterday. If he's already on 8, and we're only 8 rounds in, 9 rounds in now, if he's starting to come into today on form, Happy was on form yesterday. This is the new element of EnVy. They have this new scary setup that they can start rocking these crazy big double AWPs and hitting the shots.
Oh, and we've seen, like, traditionally before in Titan, Kenny was the guy who was clutching a lot of rounds like that. And if he's going to be there doing this for EnVy down the line, it's it's going to be good times for EnVy. But in general, when you're looking at the flow of their play right now, I'm really liking what I'm seeing. They have a really good thing going on. I think this is probably one of the maps they've put most time on since the roster change, and it really shows. They have a nice little thing going on here on T-side, and TSM has no answer so far.
Let's see how this goes for them because, like you say, TSM, they're 7-1 down already. They've had to force out a couple of FAMASs, a CZ for Karrigan, so they're really on a very weak bite.
Oh yeah, they're on budget.
This has just been the economy, pain and pressure that Envy have been pouring onto them. Device has got himself in sandbags. Happy about to check the angle.
It's going to be very hard for TSM considering they only have one smoke to flash to work with and one kit. That is a very hard.
But Device just peeked. Oh, and he manages to find Happy. Just that little pop-up. But that may well give up the position. Now, it's Envy that we're trying to make a play on A's site. And, of course, without that mid-control, this will make it a lot trickier. But they're on the take. On Keo does manage to push on through. Kenny gets the one down. That's Zipnik's in corner. Karrigan trying to hold the angle with the CZ. He gets the one down. Maybe he's just done enough because they're still on a 3v3. Cajun B looking for the angle. Smokes are going to get reapplied by Kenny, but Apex not going to get flushed out, and he gets himself a double. And now Dupree, the last man standing, with that FAMAS. He's got to save. He can't keep hold and can't keep pushing. Try and rescue what he can because they're forced as it was. Their economy is absolutely destroyed right now. They're going to get the round loss kicking in, but still, with a forced up buy on this one, we are going to see a possible pause coming out. It will be a tactical pause now from TSM.
And that's a smart move as well. Envy's really got TSM's number so far, and I do not agree with the buy they did there at all. They did not have enough equipment to work with, not enough grenades to defend as well as they need to. To delay the attacks, you need Molotovs, you need smokes, you need a lot of flashes to work with, and they barely had any. What I would like to see from them to do right now is just leave A open. Let them work with A, because A is retakeable. It's not an easy retake, but it's an easier retake. And play heavy middle. Let Envy do whatever with Happy going to the door and trying to pick kills and stuff like that. Because when they're not getting those opening kills, that's when they run into troubles. But since they're given the opening kill all the time, you know, that's just an open queue for them to see, okay, they're probably going to do this. They're probably going to have a weaker middle. We're just going to take over middle and they're going to split B. Or if, as they were setting up A attacks, you could see MBK getting creeping up in middle for free in a 3-on-4 situation and make it almost a winnable round.
But the big problem is that, like, Envy have played almost the default every single round for 9 rounds running, and they are finding picks every single time because they're just getting that little peek out, or they're flushing them out with mollies. They're just finding their positions with ease.
Oh yeah, this is like a classic methodical way of Counter-Strike. They're not committing to heavy. They're not doing heavy A smoke strategies and stuff like that. They're just really playing by the big picks and just reading the situation and trying to really get a read on TSM and their defense.
The thing that the difference from the game is, I'm trying to think who they played actually. Was it SK? No, it wasn't SK.
Here?
On
Cash.
Cash.
Wait, which one? Which team?
Envy.
Envy. They played against Mousesports, right?
Mousesports, of course, yes, Mousesports. So the difference in that game was that Keo wasn't being as effective down at B site. He's going there every round, but he seems to be finding the frags, whether it be someone pushing through B main, whether someone pushing through checkers. He's getting those shots. He's, I think, at the top of the board right now. Yeah, top of the board alongside Kenny. Keo has been on point. And these are the players that, you know, ordinarily don't think step up. You don't think of Keo as like the big guy for Envy. He's certainly not the superstar when you've got the likes of Kenny S in there and Apex now coming in alongside him. Of course, Apex always used to have a little bit more of a presence in Titan as well, but Keo doing a fantastic job coming into this game. And this is the scary thing for TSM. If everybody is on point for Envy, then this is a real problem. Zipnik's on the creep here. They have managed to take control of the middle, but they might not be expecting him. And he does find Kenny S around the back, but Happy is ready and waiting. He won't be able to collect himself that AWP. And it was more of a surprise frag than anything. I don't think it's going to create too much of a issue for Envy. Now, they still have Dupree with that FAMAS. He's the sole man standing now as Keo manages to find him. And Keo has full lockdown on B side.
Oh yeah, and it's not only individual efforts, it's also just the collective thinking and the way they're reacting to everything and decision making and the way they're pushing when they're actually committing to something. They just go as one wave, and it's a beautiful way of playing Counter-Strike, and it's very effective.
Okay, big buy round. Now they've switched things up here. Cajun B's going to take the AWP to B side. Karrigan's not going to hold that in mid, but unfortunately for them, it is going to be a quicker play from Envy, it seems, in towards A. Apex being the sole man that's challenging out. He's actually Cajun B. Not too sure if he's going to get a look at him, but we can see Zipnix and Device setting up. Cajun B will take down Apex. Now they're going to actually flash themselves through. This could work out well if they can find someone through that smoke, and they will. It's managing. They both literally push through the smoke, both at the same time. Now Device in a real strange situation where he's going to smoke himself off from A main, but unfortunately Envy are finding the frags, and Cajun B, who was down at B site with that AWP, got the kill onto Apex, but he's now all alone in a 1v3. It's just gone plain save game.
The timing of that push in E-main was just a tiny fragment of a second off.
They both went through a main at the same time, yeah.
That's what we've seen a lot this week, actually. Especially Speedy was doing that yesterday.
In the smoke, just grinding up against each other, unknown.
TSM's decision there was to just leave middle instead, and they were playing heavy 3 on A and 2 in B, and they really wanted to take that early fight to Envy. But the timing just didn't work in their favor, unfortunately, because Envy was playing, this is the funny part, Envy was playing a lot slower previously, but now this round, as TSM was pushing, Envy decided to go on a lot faster pace. So it's one of those scenarios where it's like when you're the team on a roll, it's just all your decisions just seem on point all the time. It's a weird thing. It's like obviously you don't know what your opponent is doing exactly. There's no way you're knowing that. But it's just when you're looking at it, it just feels like they do. It's like, it feels like they have everything read 100% correctly every single time.
10-1 the score. That's another force coming out from TSM. They did manage to hold on to the AWP, but Dupree's already taken down by Kenny, getting that quick peek on B side, and that's actually opened things up. Cajun B's all alone here. He has got the AWP. It's possible for him to cut this attack dead in its tracks. That's a CT smoke that's gone in, so Cajun B's going to be all alone. But look at this, Carrigan coming around the back. That's MBK, the bomb carrier, he's managed to find through mid. Happy had actually dropped down, so Happy's going to get around, but Carrigan gets another, and TSM are turning this round on its head. Now, Cajun B, if he can hold them off, he knows they're going to be pushing through checkers. It's Apex that's going to try and get the peek across. Apex, though, will strike. And now we're in a 3-on-3. Bombers recollected. Keo manages to get his hands on that. Carrigan, who's already got a double, making his way around into CT spawn.
This is scary for TSM, though. No B control whatsoever.
So Keo's gone in sight. The plant will come through. Kenny's holding the back angle where Zipnix is looking to come across. He's going to actually drop down through vents.
He's going to be the key man here. He needs to get in.
Oh, Apex actually looking to flash himself across. He thought about going aggressive there. Device, you can see an upper, just got a glimpse of him. Kenny manages to strike. There's Zipnix. He does get through, but look at the flame damage that's worked on him. He's down to 1 health. He's got to push around, and Keo and Apex will hold strong. And it's 11-1, a fantastic T-side start for EnVyUs. However, I should point out, let's not get carried away with this. It's a best of 5. The map pool this time has favored EnVyUs, but if you look at the fact that Dusty's already removed, Cash, very much an EnVyUs map. There's still a lot of maps in there that are Dust set up for TSM.
Apex was the man of the hour in that round, definitely. He got that kill when it was a deficit for Envy. He managed to get the kill on B and just totally empty B with that 1 kill.
Oh, look at that. They'd actually popped the vents themselves and not expecting Happy to come through, so Happy's aggression through mid, catching them off guard. And again, now Dupree's just going to get flashed down. MBK bursts through, quicken of the pace from EnVyUs as they charge into B site. And it's going to be another quick plant for them. Carrigan's trying to go on the rotate, but Kenny has his setup and ready. Doesn't land the first. Will he get a chance at the second? Carrigan having to back away. Zipnix will also come. Kenny could possibly hold them both at bay. Didn't catch a glimpse of Zipnix, but he's already expecting one to come from that angle. And now he will manage to land the second chance. So Carrigan on the save, Device on a save, TSM really in desperation mode. 12-3 is beckoning. This could be a gigantic T-side score from EnVyUs.
Oh yeah, this is getting spiraling out of control totally right now. There's nothing going in favor of TSM. It's almost at the point where you're just like thinking to yourself, yeah, let's start focusing on the next map. This is not working out too well for us right now. Obviously they're not, but it's coming to that point at this point. It's been brutal. I mean, TSM has tried everything. They've tried to play mid control. They've tried to play heavy A, pushing B, and all around the map. Just not working at all. Envy is just doing all the right calls at the right point at this point.
It's just not going their way. Let's see if they can rescue anything with their final rifle round. They've thrown everything they can at this one. Carrigan's got himself pushed up earlier. I wonder if he's going to go aggressive again. Remember, he pushed through and caught MBK out last time in middle. Just instead going to reapply the smoke, not go for it this time. Happy's got himself in squeaky. He's been landing the shots here, but Device's sights are trained on this door.
Yep, another default round for EnVy here. Just trying to get that A pick first.
Sadly for TSM, they've got themselves the little turret set up over at B site, but for once, EnVy are not challenging it. Kyo's way back. He's gone full passive because it's the triple AWP setup from EnVyUs, which you don't ordinarily get.
No, definitely not.
I'm trying to think, they went for this against Mouse, and it didn't work out too well then. Device does strike. Remember, he had his eyes trained on that, and he's managed to get himself a second quickly, and a third. This is what they need. Device starting to step up. Now, if they pop flash out, they might even catch MBK, who's about to get a little peek around the corner. Just got a glimpse there. Zipnix knows that MBK is with him. Kyo on the rotate will be joining them, so it seems they're going to keep on pressuring onto this A site, maybe feeding into the crosshairs of Device as MBK comes around. His Device managed to get his fourth. He's going to get flashed out. Did get a couple of tags down, but not the shot. There it will be. That's his 4K. Can he make it the set? Yes, he can. No, Cajun Bees.
What a steal. Wow, that's just bad-mannered.
Kill secured is what that will be referred to as.
Totally BM. Cajun, shame on you.
I think at 12-1, they don't really care who gets the kills. That's the thing.
But you do. You actually do. You actually do in that situation. You're like, oh, let me get the ace. Let me get the... No, you bastard.
But he would have felt like he got it until he looked at the kill feed because he had the spray down. Carrigan going aggressive at A main, getting a peek across there and a shot onto Kenny S there, tagging him down. It was a tag for tag, actually. You can see 12 and 16 hit points between the two, so both landing shots through the wall. Zipnik's actually up close and personal. He's got himself into middle, so a little switch of positions because Carrigan decided to go aggressive, JW style, on A main. MBK, that molly is going to get in towards the side. He was expecting Zipnix to be there. It's sadly the position that Carrigan had held a few times, so they were very much looking at the angles. But now we're down to a 3-on-3 as a couple of shots have landed. Happy, Kyo and Kenny all making their way towards A main, and Carrigan holding the angle.
That was very weird. Why was Zipnix alone in the middle? There was no one really trading the kills there. So just a lot of pressure put on Zipnix alone. Not really sure that was a smart move.
The setup they've got here is going to give Carrigan very much to the Lone Ranger situation. He's got to land the first shot as they come around. He doesn't get the flick. That means they get around. Kenny now holding that angle while the rest of his team sets him up. He's going to try and flush him out with the molly. He tried to go aggressive, peek around the corner, but it wasn't to be. Now Carrigan has the support of Cajun B, who will land the shot on Kyo. The second bite to the cherry for Carrigan, possibly, as he looks around. Happy's got himself into forklift already, though. And now they're going to push around point blank, and Kenny S with the Tech 9 doesn't need a second chance, and then switches across to the AWP, bounces into Cajun B. 5 seconds, he has to find the kill, like you say. It's going to be a 12-3 half. Still a big scoring for EnVyUs, no doubt about it, but TSM rescuing just a little from there.
That was a very tough first half for TSM, obviously. 3 rounds on CT side. It's just... The weird part is they were really trying everything. They were doing everything, but it was just EnVy on point with every decision. Every individual was chiming in and getting kills when it was necessary. That's a weird first half. I was not expecting that.
16 kills for Kenny S in that first half. Not exactly the 29 that Device got on Inferno the other day, but...
Yeah, more often than not, you don't need that.
No, exactly. That's a bit of a freak result, but... very much showing that Kenny S is turning up today on point.
Now we see a very different approach from EnVy for the CT pistol. They were actually holding A with 2 guys. One in vents, one is playing lane, and one is B.
Yeah, Keel's got himself in vents, not challenging out towards Cajun B. MBK tagged up heavily from mid there. Oh, actually manages to land a couple of taps back on Dupree in reply. Happy looks like he's about to get pushed through the smoke here by MBK. Apex very heavily challenged. That grenade's going to do a lot of damage on towards Device, though. Straight into his pocket. There's going to be a B hit. Kyo and Kenny S are the ones that are going to hold him back. Kyo's right at the back of Checkers.
He's in a great position right now.
Kenny S manages to land the one head as well. Kyo finally finds himself. He manages to drop Device as he moves into sight. Now Zipnik's getting challenged out. The rest of the team on the rotate. MBK's going to come through vents. He's going to drop down right on Zipnik's face, and he will catch the head. Bomb plant comes in, but it's a 4-on-2. Make that 3-on-2 as Cajun B gets dropped. Apex, Carrigan the last man standing. Every angle was covered. And Apex will manage to land the shot, and more importantly, give EnVyUs that pistol round, which is really going to make it tough for TSM now.
That is that position behind that box where Kyoshim was is just a monster position, especially when you're attacking the side and just not checking there at all.
And with Kenny landing the first initial headshot as well, as soon as they pass them by, all their attention's drawn to it.
Exactly, yeah. Does play to it a lot. And then just the way you can delay and make the distraction when you're in that position all that time is going to help so much easier. It's going to make it so much easier to for the other players to rotate toward that bomb site.
Both trading the headshots, a little chat between them, sort of saying they both got that aim punch. Happy's gone very aggressive in A main. He's got a P90 as well, so he's in a great position just to spray them down. Apex manages to find Device in middle. So Carrigan looking like he's going to try and set up for some smokes towards A site. This could be a fake.
Yeah, this is a very, very great aggression from Envy though, because it is pretty obvious that they're going to go for some kind of a Tech 9 smoke spy with the bomb down and with the situation being what it is. So you want to take as much room away from the T's as possible. That's exactly what they were doing, pushing A main.
Couple of shots tagging through. Happy doesn't reply. It's just like, no, guys, it's just a smoke. There's nobody there. Trace of fire going either side of him. Still, that smoke's going to dissipate in a couple of seconds. MBK's with him as well, so he's trying to get out a couple of tags on towards him. The P90 will strike, but not going to land the shots. But are they going to be expecting MBK up close and personal? They won't. He's going to get himself one not
shot.
A second. Great shot from Cajun B. And Carrigan's actually got into sight as well, so it's a 2-on-3 retake for EnVyUs. They're actually going to drop back and go a little passive while everybody gets in position, but Kyo from range with that M4 will slow this attack and really drop it on its feet. Carrigan, what can he do with his Tech 9? Got to try and keep his team in it, but it's not going to be. And the M4s that all survive the round for Envy.
Very smart move from Envy, pushing that A main. That just threw TSM's plan out the window. They were definitely going for an A smoke strat and trying to push Sherlock with those Tech 9s, getting early, really close combat, but that really, they never really got that opportunity with Envy pushing, and that just nullified the round totally, putting Envy at 14.
Does mean that TSM are just going to force straight back in their head armor Tech 9s. 1D for Dupree. Can he manage to make anything of it? It's going to be a B push. It's two go through vents. They all drop into checkers. Smokes and flashes going out there, but Apex, like you say, they're three stacking it. Apex, Kyo, and Kenny all in position. Oh, Kenny thinks up heavily, but he will find one. Apex gets himself a triple, and Kenny gets the last. And that was pretty much business as usual for EnVyUs. This could be a big score for a start of this best of 5.
That was desperation. That was total desperation. I mean, at this point, anything goes when you're down that as much as they were. You're just sort of trying to get lucky, especially when you're using those Tech 9s. And I would say some Deagles and Scouts coming out into play. Let's see how they utilize that.
So EnVyUs looking like they're in a position to close things out here. Carrigan going full on aggression. We'll find tag onto Happy, and which will get followed up by Zipnix, but you can see already by the kill feed they're down to a 4-on-3. MBK just holding the angle with a FAMAS, not being able to land the shots though, and that's actually tagged him very low, giving them a little opening here. Apex so quickly comes around from the B side, gets himself a very easy double, making it a triple, and he will close things out. Great kill spread actually from the whole of Envy, all of them on pretty decent stats. Envy as a team turning up on cash.
You have to be impressed by Envy. I mean, no one expected that. They were just reading TSM like an open book. Every decision they made was just spot on. Everyone was hitting their shots enough. That's the kind of scoreline you can see once in a while. I mean, it was the case where TSM must feel like, all right, we never even showed up for that match. I mean, nothing just went in our favor. And it's going to take a bit of energy for them to just reset from that and move on for the next map.
Figure out what they're going to do. Chobros, take it away.
Thank you, Nacha and D-Man. What an explosive start for Envy. I mean, yeah, we talked about how they're probably favored on cash, but that score 16-3 going super strong against TSM here in their very first game. TSM now down to 2 lives, but ladies and gentlemen, it's not done yet. Remember to continue voting for which maps you want to see in the upcoming matches, because that sounds like that's going to matter a lot, Jason.
Yeah, I think so. If you're an EnVyUs fan, you're going to be wanting to vote for Cobble or Inferno. That's the 2 maps they're really going to excel on. But if you're a TSM fan, as a results we have seen over the course of the last few days for EnVyUs, you want to vote Train, 100%. Mirage, get them in there. Maybe some Overpass. Already heard EnVyUs say they're not feeling too confident on it, so that's definitely 3 maps you want to vote for each team to see them win?
Well, we called earlier, you know, the statistical advantage for Envy over the course of the year. Wasn't expecting it to be quite that one-sided, though. Actually, that's almost the most one-sided game that we've seen all tournament. The other one, of course, was the 16-2 Renegades losing to Mouse. So, honestly, kind of gobsmacked from that one. A lot of what we talked about before, you know, TSM having a warm-up game, technically, after beating Renegades earlier on in the day, just didn't seem to have any impact there whatsoever. TSM were called. Envy looked incredibly on form. Kenny S is looking confident, which was a big talking point for us, you know. How will the form be of those players today? Well, we just saw there, map 1, Kenny S was not missing many shots.
Yeah, none at all. And you look at that as a team of superstars where anyone on that team can do it. If you have Kenny S and Happy both fantastic operas doing that kind of thing, Happy yesterday with like 28 kills or 30 kills in regular time, though Kenny S stepping up there, that is a dangerous team to go up against.
Yeah, you know, it's interesting you mentioned, both of you guys mentioning that, and Joe especially talking about how TSM had a chance to play a game, albeit not one they were tested in. But, you know, they got to get their hands warmed up a little bit, you know, get comfy in the booze. And we're not seeing that come up just yet. I mean, it's not just about how Envy was reading them like a book, but on top of that, TSM, again, sometimes when they had the advantage, their shots just weren't there. They were not as on point as Envy was today.
Yeah, and as Natu is saying, you know, EnVyUs were just reading TSM really well. And I want to point out actually one thing that I saw that was really cool. On the Ace site, when they were defending on the CT side, you saw them, instead of sitting back when they knew it was going to be an A hit, you know, watching door, watching main, they just pushed 2 people through main, and if they were a little bit quicker, a little bit slower there, they could have won that round. Really cool to see those, you know, kind of intricacies changing up, just little meta-breaking things. But TSM, they just, it seems like they couldn't get a foothold at all.
Super important now as well for TSM that they get one of their maps, you know, that they actually come in and say, thank God, you know, we are now going to come and bounce back from this one, because that's a devastating loss, you know. There's tight games where you lose and you think, there are hard losses as well, you know, but when it's so one-sided, when it comes to this stage of the tournament, when you've been playing really well and then you just get absolutely wrecked, it's not a great feeling for them, and they need an instant bounce back, or you could just see a 3-0 happening.
Yeah, it's not a great feeling. Like, I've talked to quite a few players across multiple games and asked, you know, would you rather lose a stomp game or a very close game? And they generally say a close game, because it comes down to that one mistake. You know, if you're that player that missed that one shot or you didn't defuse when you should have, it's going to carry with you into the next game. At least with a 16-3 score, and you can look at as, yeah, we lost, but we can brush it off because we're into the next map.
Yeah, that's going to matter a lot coming into this next game. TSM now down to 2 lives. Envy still sitting on 3, up 1-0 in this best of 5. Ladies and gentlemen, it's time to find out what the next map will be in this matchup.
Thank you very much, Choba. Fascinating first map. Would we have called that? As the guys were saying, probably not, which means we need to choose the next map that's going to be played in the second of our best of 5 this morning, which means we need to choose a number. Now, we're not going to get the teams down to do it, basically because they're upstairs, they're ready, they're warm, they're ready to go. So I'm going to go, just jump over the stage. You, sir, get to choose the map. They're all obviously randomly generated. Give me a number between 1 and 8.
I'd say 6.
He says 6. What is behind 6? Sorry there. It's Cobble. So thank you to Sissy. 13337, thank you very much for that. Cobble is one that's chosen. We can see there was a couple of cobbles, 3 cobbles there, a couple of overpasses, the rest a mirage. So Cobble is the map that is going to be played in the second of our best of 5, and we're going to see that after this break.